Alright, hello and welcome back to Battle of Behemoths 3. We'll be looking at Darken's Cult Warband. He is the third cultist player. We have three cultists and three Sisters of Sigmar. Both very powerful in this tournament, I believe, as we've been discussing. So we'll see how he has built his cultists to come and rip your arms off, as I like to say. We start with Magister 2, or maybe we should go with Magister 1. So he's still putting names in. We'll go with Magister 2 here. Excuse me. Alright, we've got improved casting. This is for magic resistance bypass, so it tells you he's an offensive caster. Shield specialist increases parry chance and melee resistance 81%. You can see some melee resist build. He has awareness to go with that, and then he has Tzeentch's warding. So it's just the cheaper skill point magic resistance. So again, I always kind of do this, but I'm kind of sad that the cult magic resistance is almost just as good as it literally is. It's just 2 less skill points than the vanilla version or generic. But I guess the counter argument is you can take both, so I don't know. Anyway. Then you have meditation. Basic order. Without battle tongue will cost him 4 and 1. So he'll only be able to get one of those off, or 2 of those off. Feint, web of steel. So not really good dodge, but he'll use parry in order to get some extra defense to go with the melee resistance. And then basic war cry. So he's kind of a magic melee resistance hybrid build. I'm just waking up. He has weapons of destruction mastery, as every magister everywhere ever has. And this has chains of chaos mastery. This is probably what the improved casting's for. To really just slow down the impressive or the demon. It's very useful. Also, strong heroes, like damaging heroes. Vision of Torment, this is another one. This is to do the group stun or to reduce melee range resistance, parry, and dodge. And then the Veil of Corruption. It's a nice, again, I talked about how he always has like 2 skill points left over because he's always mastering this and what spells you could take. This is a nice one. You don't see it often, so if you're unaware, it's kind of the opposite of the Rat's Skaven Cloud and Shrouding Mist. It's kind of the opposite, though. You are enclosed in a cloud, which reduces your range resistance. The Skaven one increases it. It's kind of bizarre that this cloud reduces it. And if you pick up Wordstone, so I have already played Paranoia, and there's a map where sometimes you see this. It's a giant clump of Wordstone, and everyone has to go there. And you can maybe put this onto that site, and then if you pick it up, you take damage. And then the other thing is when you leave it, you now have a melee resistance penalty. So, again, it helps you hit. Between Vision of Torment and Veil of Corruption, you can get really good melee resistance bypass. So there you go. And then he has 2 heroes, which is cool to see. I'm sorry, leaders, magisters. Not many people took 2 of the leaders. So we've got improved casting again, shield specialist, awareness, and this time it's serenity. It's actually very similar to I took 2 captains. One was a serenity, one wasn't. Just depending on the opponent. Like, you don't need serenity against sisters. It's just not going to do anything. So depending on who you're facing. He's then got the basic meditation, basic order, feint, web of steel. So it's pretty much the same, except he swapped out serenity for Tzeentch warding. So there you go. Like, this is clearly, you take this one against the sisters, right? And still give them that big headache. So that's well done. I like it. I did literally the same thing. How do I not like it? And retreat, I've used retreat a few times. Then you got weapons of destruction. Like a really good thing is like if the demon has attacked your unit and you're like fuck this, you can have them retreat and it generally doesn't like re-engage. It might run off to a different target. You can get some good use out of it that way. Chains of Chaos, Weapons of Destruction, Vision of Torment, and Veil of Corruption. So he's taking the same spells. Just one you'll see against sisters, or maybe it depends. I don't. Are mercs in his warband? Maybe against mercs. I think mercs are in his. Did I say warband? In his division. So maybe take this one against a warlock, right? Just because there's only the ogre. Otherwise, you're not too worried. You can see it against the Skaven. The Skaven's over with me. Right? Undead, there's a lot of fear and terror units, so you're probably taking this one. Witch hunters, you're probably taking this one. Alright, and then you have your backup leader. This one tastefully named alternate leader. I mean, he is a leader, so he's got to have the crown of bones. I think that's a rule. Let's do that before I forget, because it is the undead. Or the cult. Oh my god, I am not awake. Let me sip this coffee. I don't think it'll help. First sip of the morning, it's the best. He's got extra face for dodge and parry. So he's got 3 fucking eyes and a crown of bones for morale. Armor and stun resistance. Then the eye for initiative and crit resistance. So he's kind of made him a tank. You got armor, crit resistance, dodge parry. I mean, he is. What else are you going to do with him? Right? You can make him like a raw damage dealer. This is kind of a tankier build. So he's got 150 dodge. And I guess he was probably going for these two. He's at 10 and 8. Now do I need to look back at these? Are you kidding me? Okay, yeah, 8 and 9. 9 and 9. These people are crazy. Oh, interesting. He's got Megalomania for magic resistance bypass. And a severed leg. Fuck. For that more melee and range resistance. Again, we'll see. It's interesting. People asked me and I said, go ahead. We'll see if it's that powerful. He slowed down his initiative, maybe for a reason. Or maybe it's like, fuck it. This is as good as I'm going to get him. I think it's kind of hilarious. You're going to fight this warband and they're going to have like 200 less warband rating than you. And you're going to be like, why? Why? And it's because they're all crippled. So yeah. This gives them more strategy points and then more. But then again, you have to use lucidity, right? You're locked into this rune. It's hard to remember. Just know that these players have like extra movement. If you're confused why they're like doing something for a third time, like, oh yeah, he's injured. He's got Battle Tongue Mastery to go with Order Mastery. Hardy Mastery. Again, he's trying to tank. And then Zinj Warding. Good 66% without even trying too hard. This is where it's better. The basic is 20 versus 15 for the basic magic resistance. And then this is supposed to be the appeal. It's easy to master. Sidestep basic, because it's hard to squeeze it all in probably. And then you can see add rush. You get 12 for 4 orders at 3 OP. So I think that's the appeal there. But if you get this guy with and deny the heretic or anything that removes an OP, he's kind of never going to be able to do 4 of them. He can only do 3. So important unit to do crippling shot on. Any of these units with these injuries, you just want to take one OP. It's pretty crippling to them. Intensity and then retreat. I was hoping to see. No, I don't think anyone made this, but they kind of made it. But this guy that goes around and shouts at people. I mean, he does with the order. Maybe it's. I haven't made the build. Maybe it's hard to squeeze them all in. But I was hoping to see like mastery order, mastery war cry, and like mastery coordination. But maybe it's like there's 0 survivability. I don't know. But I could just see him running around the field like, you go, fuck you guys, go kick his ass. like cracking a whip at him, you know. But this is similar, right? I don't know. It's weird. No one makes possessed leaders. So. We'll move on to the man of the hour. He can't be injured, thank God. They just literally die. I think it says that somewhere. Creation instability. 20% chance to just go back to the realm of chaos. Basically, the designers were like, I can't make injuries. I already had to make all these unique things. You want me to give it fucking missing legs now? I'm out of development time. He's got veteran mastery, chaotic advantage. I think all of them have this. We've talked about it a lot. You're going to have to nerve shot them or distract them. Now I'm choking on the coffee. Mastery hardy. Still not that tanky, though. I mean, he is, but you see 700 plus. Zinch warding. I mean, it's really this toughness. He's got big agility, though. So he's got sidestep, basic. So another Daredevil build will struggle against him. And then he's got attracting lure mastery. It's been a theme through these cult warbands. It's very powerful. Even basic's good, but this basically allows you to know you're going to move the guy off. That's a rough one, minus 25. Even like Wolf Priest will get scared. Add Rush Basic for 10. And then Armor Break Mastery. So Cult are the king of cracking open tin cans. So Armor Break, Weapons of Destruction, Goodbye Armor. And then Baby Daredevil. We've seen a lot of this, which is fun. There's a lot of philosophy on, especially with the Cult, I think can pull it off. I think I've talked about the Cult and the Sisters. The Sisters because of Sigmar's second wind. The Cult because you use the 3 OP on the Daredevil. It's rough. So you only get 6 OP that turn. You know, which is even an awkward number. This Ad Rush doesn't work as much now. But it kind of does. So you have 6 OP left. You get 3 attacks off. Then you use Ad Rush. Then you use your stance. And you get 5 back. So then you have 6 back for 3 more counterattacks. So you honestly end up getting 6 attacks that turn, potentially. Unless you're like Nerve Shot or no one attacks into you because they know you have it. Right? That's why it's a little less punishing for them, I think. So I think it's a good choice for taking the do I actually want Daredevil or not skill, which is like the basic. The point of the mastery is to not lose 3 OP every other turn. You lose it every third turn. You get more damage, but it can be harder punished. So you really have to have dodge bypass. So it's cool to see. It's cool to see. Did we look at him? We kind of didn't. We just talked about why he can't get injured. He has Slicer for increased hit chance. And reduces your melee damage, so that stacks. That's pretty cool. So it'll slowly neuter a unit. It's never going to get... It can actually build up to like crazy high numbers, but hopefully this guy's killed something by then. But if he's hitting your impressive and landing this, it's slowly injuring your impressive, like reducing your impressive's damage. Like 3 of these already removes Frenzy. Like that's a big deal, right? Extra limb mace for more damage, but then the big thing is dodge bypass and then hit chance. So he's got 22% hit chance. And then he took survivability with armor. Look at this guy's armor. You put Mandrake on him, he's at 55. It's kind of funny what you can get with these guys. If you put a Necromancer, this isn't happening in this tournament, but you can get up, you know, you get 55 with the Mandrake. You put Corpse Flesh, you're at 65. You take Ignore Pain, you're at 75. No one would ever think like, oh, Chaos Spawns are heavy armor impressives, but they can not that difficultly get to 75%. I mean, even 65's something. Part of it's this Crown of Bones, so. And there you go. So he's like a tanky. I didn't see really a crit. So he didn't have Blood Offering, but just a tanky armor breaking. Impressive. Yeah, like none of them have really taken more. I think there's a one like crit build we've seen. Maybe we'll see some other ones in here for the cult. With blood offering. I guess we'll look at these Doom Weavers. There's the mother-in-law, so she's gonna just screech all the time. This one's healthy. What the hell? This is some armor on a Doom Weaver. My God, good for him. So he might want to blow up. We've got Mastery Hardy, Knowledge of Mordheim, 5 meters movement. Ooh. Improved casting for magic resistance bypass. Force of will. Yeah, he wants to blow up. 98%. Which of Defiance. You don't see this often. Increases range resistance of allies by 40% for 3 turns, but reduces movement range of the user by 2 meters for 3 turns. Cannot be used while engaged. I really worry about this guy. He's gonna go down to 3 meters movement. Just put like Curse of Armor, what is it, Armor of Lead or Wither on him, and it's like, good night. Trail of Suffering reduces melee damage of enemies by 40% for 3 turns. Okay, this is really weirdly worded. It reduces melee damage. You use it on your units. No wait, what? Self and enemies within 5 meters. Oh, what? Okay, the self must be this part. So you have to use it on opponents around you, and it reduces their melee damage that they do to you. You rarely see this skill. So it's kind of like the Wolf Priest has this in one of his. It reduces it by 20%. And this isn't like armor. It's not like a blanket effect. It can remove things, again, like Frenzy or Blood Offering or any of the strength modifiers. Right? 9 times 3 is 27%, right? So basically remove your strength modifier and any other things. So it removes the modifiers. And then he had something else with that, right? Yeah, this guy. It's the same thing I just talked about with the slicer. So if you put the slicer together with that, you can kind of reduce a lot of your melee buffs, damage buffs. If you can get it off. Like, my God, it's awkward as hell with this movement too. I don't know if he's supposed to be in heavy armor. I do wonder. You can put him in leather and actually get him somewhere. Less survivability, but wild casting because he wants to blow up. He wants to come in and blow you up and do Ritual of Suffering. Maybe protect his guys from ranged. What's he going to do? Boon of Ruin. So you hurt yourself when you try to attack him. 25 damage per attack on average. But you do get better hit chance. And it reduces the cost of counterattacks. I never actually knew that. Idol of Blood for healing. Spiteful Manifestation. It's going to stack eventually, but it rips armor and is an AoE. Just, it's piddly. It's fucking terribly weak. Which is why this has to be stackable. It's going to be changed pretty soon in the next patch. Like, either these numbers had to go way up, and this was just a one-time. Not way up, but you know. And whatever. Or this had to be stackable. And then Idol of Change we've talked about and how broken it is. Strips all the magic effects, reduces spell casting, gives you magic resistance. Cheaper to cast. It's just crazy. And then this one looks like more of an actual caster. The sister-in-law. I have both. Improved casting for bypass, increases spell damage, yeah. Stun resistance, so he doesn't want to blow up and stun himself. And study for more spells. Intensity, it's free. Meditation to move around the map. He does have Ritual of Defiance again for ranged resistance. Quick casting, so he can get even cheaper casts, probably with and then Web of Steel, decent parry with that. I would guess Idol. Oh, he forgot. We're gonna have to ask him now. I'll post it. I'm pretty sure this is coming here. Oh, I don't have the mod on anymore. I would guess Idol of Change, given he has quick casting and that. I would definitely guess Burning Blood. I would definitely guess Idol of Blood, Burning Blood. I couldn't say though. You can take 4 mastery spells. Maybe this, 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 and this. I don't know though. We'll have to ask him. So there's the Doomweaver. He's more of a caster. He could get in combat with the web and the parry. But the sister-in-law probably feels like it wants to be further back from the action, where mother-in-law wants to get in there and yell at everybody. Typical. I'm excited to see this. Very excited. But we'll do the mutant first. Okay, this might be a crit, fella. 25, you pick up a stone, you have 35. Was he injured? It's so hard to keep up with all these. Doesn't look like it. Oh god, this one is. He's at 10 and 7. Crown of Bones for armor. Okay, he's a tank. I love the mutant. I say this every time. So he's a heavy armor mutant. Like, there's so many ways you can fucking take this guy. Claw feet, 5 meters movement in the heavy armor. That's a bit rough. He's lucky he doesn't get the face paranoia. I did roll for what league he'd go in. He's going to be in Division 2, which doesn't have the Skaven. It does have the Mercs, though. Otherwise, everyone else is represented. Claw feet. But, like, oh my god, Paranoia is running laps around me with his units. And he's got the Crusher, which gives you the critical hit and then reduces stun resistance. So when you do eventually crit them, they fall to their knees. He's got the Skull Fracture, Confusion, and Concussion. So I think that's... Okay, I don't think he wanted that. This is the one that, like, gives you an OP, but this one makes sure you get it back. But then again, you're stuck with Lucidity. So he has no chance to take magic resistance. And there's Blood Offering. Yeah, this is a crit. Crit tank. I like this build. I've made this mutant a lot. It's like a tank that then can also be very dangerous. You can get 45% crit chance by proccing that and then Shadow Lord's Touch without even trying very hard. Like, at all. Really, honestly. Blood Offering's good anyway because of the damage. And then you want to pick up stone. So you can get 45% crit and not even be like a quote-unquote crit build, honestly. Like, look at his weapon skill. It's 19. He's not really focusing that hard on it. Hardy Mastery, Chaotic Advantage, which is great for him. You take the basic parry. Oh, he has Web of Steel even. For some reason he doesn't have a shield on. You could easily do that too. There you go. Honestly, it should be like a Shield of Iron. She doesn't have one made, but that puts him at 65%. Anyway, you take Chaotic Advantage. Your counters become very dangerous. You can crit with it. Resilient, because he doesn't have the eye. He loses heavy armor. Fatality. There's another 10. That's trying a little harder, you know what I mean? So, but it's also 10% more. That's 10, 20, 30. I have 55% crit chance. Web of Steel, Meditation, and then the free skills, Swift Jump, Intensity. You said Blood Offering. Good build, fun build. I just really worry about this. I mean, it's the price you pay, I think, for squeezing in Fatality. He could have taken Knowledge of Mordheim, or the other one. Again, I don't have the mod in still. I wish I could show you. There's a skill over here that is called unique, but it gives +1 meters movement. I think it's something with like something advantage. It's the other advantage. Like on jump downs or like climb ups or whatever, you can regain an SP and you also gain +1 meter movement. Anyway, like this guy and the other one, like if he puts them out as a team, like he is not going anywhere. Mother-in-law and did he actually name this Spasmodius? Both have 5 meters movement. That's kind of rough. All right, let's unpeel this one. Shooter McGavin from Happy Gilmore. And he's clearly a shooter. He better have entrenched mastery. Oh, it's happening. All right. It's so fun I just get excited about Lads Got Talent heroes. Every cultist has one for I'm pretty sure everyone has a Lads Got Talent Dark Soul. All 3 cult warbands. I was so sad there was no Lads Got Talent sisters or novices. I've never noticed this like compass on his bow. It's kind of weird. Is it a compass? I don't know. Or a sign to the gods of cult. It's got like spears on the end. Violent looking thing. Honestly, maybe I don't use many bows. I'm always using short bows. Anyway. The Brethren. Why would I Lads Got Talent him? Well, he gets Lurker. Increases chance to critically hit with an Overwatch by 20%. Alright. Why would I, again, that doesn't sound that great. You take Mastery Entrenched. Shoot the next enemy that moves into range for regular damage, but with a plus 30% chance to critically hit. It's very weird. It says take a stance that ends current turn. It should say like go into an Overwatch. Right? It doesn't organically tell you like this goes with this. So Overwatch the next enemy that moves, you know? So you get 50% crit chance on your Overwatch, and then it allows a dodge, which actually moves it to 95%. But the whole point is you take a plus 50% crit chance. So that's 64% chance to crit you on an Overwatch. And if that hits you and stuns you, it's just crippling, man. It's horribly crippling. He had to take Lads Got Talent to get here. Quick reload, of course. Trick Shooter, because he actually wants to land that Overwatch. So it gives him, he's getting in the Overwatch plus 15% range chance, plus 50% critical chance. And then he has Eagle Eyes. So here's a fun fact. I hope Darken knows this. Weapons of Destruction. Attacks bypass 20% armor absorption. I thought this was 15. Am I losing my mind? Maybe he switched it back to 20. I swore it was like 10 and 15, but maybe it's like 10 and 20 again. I don't know. Anyway, bypasses 20% armor absorption, applies to ranged attacks. So with Eagle Eyes and Weapons of Destruction, he gets 35% armor bypass. It is worth applying Weapons of Destruction to ranged units. So if you take a Bow of Perforation, hopefully he has one. Hopefully he'll make one. I don't actually know. What is it, 12? I'm going to say it's 12. Yeah. So what are we, 35? 47% armor bypass. That's significant. Like, that's so much better than the shitty crossbow pistols witch hunters get. So much better than everything, honestly. 47, it's crazy. That's like crossbow numbers. With way easier reloads. So that's why you take Eagle Eyes, in my opinion. Maybe he knows that, and that's why he took it. Eagle Eyes, crossbow, or Bow of Perforation with Weapons of Destruction. So if you're not critting, you're at least shooting a lot. Okay, and he does have injuries, so he can organically get 5 shots off with these injuries. I think he's locked into Lucidity. Yep. So he doesn't need to take Ad Rush. That's actually a big deal. So this injury is very helpful for him. So you can get 5 really 47% armor bypass shots, or he could try to crit you. And he does still have another skill shot. He has crippling shot to take away 2 OP. That can be very disruptive for henchmen, for lots of units, especially impressives. Basic meditation to try to get around the map, maybe turn 1 or get into an overwatch. You got to make sure you save an SP. So maybe, oh, I don't have an SP, but I really like this spot. Meditation. Now I can entrench. And then attracting lure, very good choice for an archer. You can more safely like wall your archer. Put your archer against a wall, like literally he is right here. He can't disengage. Well, you just lure, and then he can move away. You have to hope they fail, and you know, or if it's like a ghoul, it's not going anywhere. You're still locked, but that's why you take lure on the archer. So cool build, very fun build. Hopefully we get to see him destroy some units with crit overwatches. And then we have the Dark Soul at 10 and 7 as well. So be aware. And then the mutation. He's a baby mutant. He gets wounds here. Featureless face, free perception. He only gets 3 mutations, I believe. It's Demon Soul, Featureless face, and 2 faces or 2 heads. And then poison resistance. That's got talent, of course, and crazed, armor proficient, mastery, hardy, mastery, resilient. So tank. Baby Daredevil. He's not going to have very good bypass at all. He does have the spear and accuracy, so he's using this against very tanky opponents. He would never trigger this against the dodge. And there's the ignore pain. He's at 70%. Yeah, with the iron. 80% if he chugs a mandrake. Just like that. Very easy armor. Web of steel for an extra layer. Meditation to get places. And then the mastery attracting lure. So a tanky guy that can do some damage. Like 17 strength with Daredevil is not nothing. So it's a good all-around tank, honestly. The gladiator. He does feel like a gladiator. We'll just keep along the lines of Dark Souls. There's Mr. Pink. Again, injured 6 and 6 it looks like. He has the featureless face again for more wounds and maybe the perception. It's funny, all the cult war bands with poison resistance are not facing paranoia. Because Added is also in this division, and he took this on every unit. Ramon actually took some other mutations on the face, and he's in there with paranoia. To be fair, other cult war bands, Added will have poison, so it will help him against Added perhaps. They can both not apply poison to each other. Poison being the arm mutations, if you weren't aware, which we looked at. Anyway, I digress. Mr. Pinky. Hardy, Zinch Warding, Resilient, Knowledge Mordheim. Again, this 5. Web of Steel, Intensity's free. He mixed in the free one, Swift Jump, and then you're back to Jaw Strike. Very common, very good. And Insult for melee resistance. Bypass. So kind of just a tank. I'd like to see Zinch Warding with the Demon Soul, because that Demon Soul gives you, what, 25%, and this gives you 20. But I mean, I guess I honestly don't know the appeal of featureless face. I mean, the perception's cool. It gives you some range resistance bypass for that turn that you pass it, and you can find units a little better. But I don't know. Let's see if he has different ones on these guys. No one has Demon Soul. It's very surprising to me. Like, these are the best magic resistance units in the game, quite honest. You can take it on heroes too, but like his little eyes. You can get the Demon Soul, and he's immune to all of these. You don't have to worry about this. And you take the basic Zinch, and you put on an amulet. Is the point? You're spell breaking. This guy just doesn't care about magic. Knowledge of Mordheim. So he's at 7. Zinch Warding, Veteran. Knowledge of Tactics, I guess for the parry in this case, but dodge doesn't hurt if someone's Daredevil. Like if you're gonna take the parry, don't take the parry one, just take the tactics one, because this can help you in a daredevil situation. Meditation, basic lure, intensity, web of steel, and then jaw strike. So this is what we were talking about a lot of these reviews. This is like a slightly different variant scout, Mr. Pink. And you figure out which one performed better for me, which one did I like. He probably made them with certain warbands in mind, right? Then we have looks like a slightly different one. Sturdy Stanley. He's got hardy, Zeech warding, knowledge of Mordheim, resilient, again tanky kind of things, but stuck here again. Web of steel, intensity, swift jump. This one has meditation and insult, so no jaw strike on this one. So this might be one he's not taking against sisters or witch hunters, or I don't know. So what warband doesn't cast a lot? Maybe cult themselves. I don't know. Honestly, jaw strike's just really good, but he'll see if Sturdy Stanley makes it out there with only 5 movement. That's pretty rough. Again, all of them seem to be at 6/6 with featureless face so far. One of them finally has, this might be the dodge one. Oh, this one's 4/8 for some reason with the meditation. This one's 4/7. I don't know how that helps at all. I guess the severed leg. Oh man. Okay, we know what Dodge Master does. Wow. With his shield. Okay. Zeech warding, knowledge of Mordheim, knowledge of tactics, and avoid. It's funny, you've seen a few of these now. This tactics and the avoid combo. He's got lure, feint to go with it. 70%. Sidestep, of course. Intensity's free. And then he's got threaten because he wants you to attack him. Again, I think that's free. And then he has the double. That's how he's getting there. He's getting the extra face. That makes that even more impressive. That helps. And then you can have that shield. So he's a melee resist dodge guy. This guy looks terrifying, actually. I'm really not sure why he took internal wound. Maybe said, fuck it, I finally got severed leg. Because this is not helping in any way. Could have been an oversight, and he meant to get... Well, he does get an extra strategy point. Okay, I guess to get... It's usually 5 and 6, so I guess it has helped. I don't know. Like, I'm more impressed by this. 4/8 would have been interesting. But then, yeah. I think that allows him to take skip lucidity. Maybe that's what's going on. Yeah. So he doesn't have to take lucidity. There you go. You're getting more dodge. He could also take amulet of spell breaking. So that's probably the logic there. Okay. Wow. Yeah, take a talisman and like an amulet of spell breaking. You're just not going to get this guy off of your... I mean, this isn't a huge number, though. Like, I think the executioner or other units that we've seen in this tournament could just kill this guy. Paranoia's assassin would not give a shit about most of this. The dodge would affect him a couple times, but still going to be a very, very annoying unit. The way you deal with them is put your own henchmen on them, to be quite honest. Especially if you like the cult, they can't lure each other. Just put this unit on this unit, you know. This being a generic other tank for the other cult units. Or like put a ghoul on this guy, he's just totally done. That's fun warband. Darken's a good player. Happy to finally have him. Get the warband to me. We're at an awkward 13. And I'm not too worried because in my experience of every tournament I've ever done, someone's going to drop out. I promise you, there will be someone that leaves because of some issue or whatever. It happens. And I'm sure we'll be down to 12 by the eliminations. If we don't, great. It's more power to us. We're having fun. The other warband now has to play a few more matches, or one more matches, two technically. And I'll try to figure something out there. If they can have a bye week, or I'm probably going to take an average of the matches now. Otherwise, they have more points than the other league. And how do you seed? But it's a good problem to have. So we will see Darken out there on these mean streets in Mordheim, and he needs to tell us what sister-in-law is taking. And I will post that under the video when he gets that information to me. Otherwise, I think everything's kosher. All right, guys. See ya.